Students. The conspiracy which I believe Max Headroom was created to star in had three pillars. We'll spend this video investigating the first, his connection with New Coke. New Coke is the Emoji Movie all over again. Anytime something is a spectacular disaster with millions upon millions of dollars behind it, there's a good chance that a deeper look will reveal some interesting secrets. Let us consider this odd moment from the video. Here, Max holds up a can of Pepsi, says, "Catch the wave," and throws it off camera. This is a reference to his career as a spokesman for New Coke, or Coke 2.
Catching the wave. Catch it if you can. Catch the wave. Coke!
New Coke was a reformulation of the Coca-Cola formula which was introduced in 1985, but walked back within 3 months. Before we begin, I'd like to point out the irony here of Max being made to shill commercial products at all. In his original story, Max was attempting to expose the unethical advertising practices of a media conglomerate which had developed a form of advertising called blipverts. These were advertisements that were only a moment long, but that distilled information to such an intense form that the viewer's head would literally explode. This plotline would seem to set Max against advertisements. But Jungian analysis suggests that the twisting journey into reality from fiction involves a constant diet of eating one's opposite, and thereby expanding one's persuasiveness as a complete entity. In 1957, in a movie theater in Fort Lee, New Jersey, a man named James Vickery is said to have conducted an experiment. This was not James's first time in the newsreels. Years earlier, as a child, he was a famed snake charmer. It is not fit to speculate on what those serpentine companions of his youth may have taught the impressionable child, but it is a deeply suggestive childhood hobby for a man who gifted hypnosis to the diabolical art of advertising. Vickery would flash, "Drink Coca-Cola," and "Hungry? Buy popcorn," onto the screen for 1/3000th of a second every 5 minutes. His reported results were an increase in popcorn sales by 18.1% and an increase in Coca-Cola sales by 57.7%. What is it that made drinkers of Coca-Cola more susceptible to subliminal advertising than consumers of popcorn at this time? We'll get there soon. First, I need to address the controversy surrounding this experiment. After publishing these results, the effectiveness of the Coca-Cola section of the study was peculiarly walked back. Here you can see the Wikipedia entry blatantly switching the popcorn and Coca-Cola numbers. Furthermore, the CIA brief disclaiming the effectiveness of the study, the operational potential of subliminal perception, focuses solely on the popcorn results and bizarrely does not mention the more convincing soda results. Or perhaps the memo discussing those results has not been declassified. This walking back came from Vickery himself, who, when asked to replicate the experiment for a group of lawmakers and FCC members, substituted the "Drink Coca-Cola" message for one saying, "Fight polio." The results of this second experiment are merely reported as inconclusive, as though they were measurable. Were the congressmen expected to appropriate funds for vaccination then and there? The important removal of the Coca-Cola stimulus hobbled the experiment and allowed Vickery and his new company, Subliminal Projection Company Incorporated, to continue their work outside the public eye. Despite official declamations of the effectiveness of this method, the FCC saw fit to publicly condemn subliminal advertisements in 1957, and again in publication FCC 7478 in 1974. This industry-wide condemnation of Vickery's work included no less than CBS claiming that the legal, social, and ethical implications are sufficient to preclude it from use on the CBS television network. This may explain one of the more arcane pronouncements in the hijacking video. Nor was this the first time that Coca-Cola dipped its toe into illuminated control of the population. They are, after all, the firm responsible for the fat, white-haired gift-giver whose cultural pervasiveness persists even to this day. But I believe the answer to our earlier query, what made drinkers of Coca-Cola more susceptible to mind control, lies further back, in the origin of Coca-Cola, and indeed of all modern soft drinks. It is a fairly well-known fact that until 1903, the recipe for Coca-Cola used unprocessed coca leaves, in which cocaine is a natural ingredient. The drink was overtly sold as a form of bodily control, claiming to regulate indigestion, headaches, and impotence. But here, we also see its claims to mind control, curing neuralgia, hysteria, and melancholy. These sorts of claims were not uncommon for the early soft drinks. 7-Up also included psychoactive drugs in the form of lithium, which is today marketed as a mood stabilizer and must be prescribed by a psychiatrist. Though cocaine was eventually outlawed and removed from the drink, it is clear when we look at the company's flirtation with subliminal advertising in the 50s that their ethic did not forbid mind control as a form of marketing. Moreover, the enhanced response of the test audience to the Drink Coca-Cola imperative suggests that there was some sort of chemical preparation in Coke drinkers to make them more suggestible. So why this sudden movement to introduce a new formula in the form of the disastrous New Coke? What was added to the formula, and for what purpose? Conventional wisdom states that Coke reworked its formula to be sweeter in order to compete with Pepsi. But Pepsi had had a stable flavor for decades. Changing a 100-year-old formula in response to a competitor's successful marketing campaign seems a bit of a drastic step to take. And why enlist Max Headroom to help sell the new drink? I might also point out that an increase in sweetness masks the flavor of whatever other ingredients may have been added to the formula. I suspect that Max Headroom and New Coke were part of the same project. In our next video, we'll discuss the next pillar of this project. Until next time, may the Pyramid's eye watch over us all.